It's good for the donors because it leverages donors' taxpayers' money to deliver greater value. And it is good for debt sustainability. To be able to do more, we had a lot of support for the SDRs, the special drawing rights, and as I know, I mentioned that I actually preferred it to perhaps we can make it to be something like, supporting development revitalization. Because that's what we've got to do, to revitalize development, because when a world of crisis after the other, we need development. We had very strong support for the SDRs to Africa, to also be channeled through the African Development Bank, Africa's only AAA-rated financial institution, and a prescribed holder of the SDRs. And as you heard from us throughout this week, we can leverage those SDRs by up to 4 times. Now, in between these intensive dialogues, there were some exciting moments, of course, dancing. I can see that our governors, when I look at you on the dancing floor, I can't even recognize that this is Ministers of Finance. Somebody was talking yesterday about Governor Ofori-Atta, that once he moves, interest rate, macroeconomic stability, exchange rate, debt sustainability, everything that is moving, markets are watching. That was fun. I signed a guarantee agreement with the UK government, with the UK Minister, Vicky Ford, my sister and friend, where the UK guarantees the bank to free up $2 billion on its balance sheet. Thank you to the United Kingdom for this incredible support. It is bold, it is refreshing, it is innovative, and it shows great confidence in Africa. Of course, the freed up capital will be used to support climate investments and, in particular, renewable energy. I also had the privilege of signing a $70 million grant agreement to implement the scaling up of renewable energy programs in Ghana, which is our Honorable Ken Ofori-Atta, the Minister of Ghana, and of course with the Minister from Switzerland. If you're here from Switzerland, can I see you somewhere? Are you here? Thank you very much for that. From the Swiss Government Federation. I signed the agreement with the bank, with the government of Mozambique, to support with advisory services by the bank, because we were approached by them, to support the development of 1,500 megawatts of hydropower. That's who we are, partnering, advising, being there on the front line for all that needs to do in partnership to make Africa accelerate its development. Now, nothing showed greater confidence for me as president of the bank than the outcome of the 2-year independent external review of the governing instruments of the African Development Bank. A review that was called for and led and commissioned and guided by our boards of directors. The rigorous external review showed that what we've always believed about ourselves, what we've always said, and what we've always maintained. The review found that the governing instruments of the African Development Bank meets global standards and are at par with all other comparator multilateral development banks and global institutions. We know who we are. We know what we do. Myself, as elected president. The boards of governors who give oversight over us. The board of directors who guide us on day-to-day operations of the bank. The senior management and staff. Yes, the African Development Bank meets global standards. Truth is like the sun. It cannot be hidden. And I want to say to my governors that regardless of how you are in any race, even if you are an Olympic gold medalist, you always have room to improve, and you must improve. We have areas where we were asked that we should improve, and I can tell you, under my watch, we will improve. And we'll get it done, but thank you very much for your collective support. We'll implement the recommendations fully. I am proud to be president and humbled of the African Development Bank, for which you gave me an enormous responsibility. Our results and impacts on the ground are there for all to see. Our transparency cannot be impugned. The African Development Bank was rated by Publish What You Fund as the fourth most transparent institution in the world. Our governance also cannot be discounted nor impugned. We are a global bank that meets global standards on governance. Our global standing is a pride to us all. As Global Finance also ranked the African Development Bank as the best multilateral financial institution in the world. So we will forge ahead, undeterred, in the pursuit of our dream for a better Africa and a much stronger institution. We will walk and we will not be weary. We will run and we will not faint. Honorable Ken Ofori-Atta gave me a framed plaque when I got to my hotel yesterday. Grace gave me the plaque, and thank you for that plaque. And I looked at it, it had a leaf on it, which is called AYA, A-W-A, AYA, is that? And you put a card there, and I flipped it and read it. The card says that AYA is a symbol of endurance and resourcefulness. It's a fern, it's a plant, a fern. The fern is a hardy plant that can grow in difficult places. And he continued in that card, it says, an individual who wears this symbol suggests that he or she has endured many adversities and outlasted much difficulty. Honorable Governor, I will wear the AYA label proudly. The African Development Bank Group will display the AYA plaque proudly. We will do more for Africa with the extraordinary support of all of you, our highly dedicated, loyal, and committed shareholders. So, as you all leave now to go home, thank you for your incredible support. Thank you for your faith. Thank you for your confidence. Please do go home and tell our true stories. The stories of your bank, the African Development Bank. A bank that is breaking barriers. A bank that's setting new standards with humility. A bank that is doing transformative innovations for Africa's development. A bank that is impacting Africa. A bank that is now called Africa's Solutions Bank. We will also tell the stories of exceptionally warm hospitality of the government and of the people of Ghana. Oh yes, please carry it back home. The excellent hospitality of His Excellency President Nana Akufo-Addo, of this indefatigable Minister of Finance. I know, Ken, that when people say you roll out the red carpet, Your carpet was like 5 layers tall in everything you did for us, and we are grateful to you. And all of your staff. Stories of the excellent organization of our annual meeting. My Secretary General, thank you very much. General Counsel, thank you very much. The communications team, the senior management and staff of the bank who worked day and night and toiled, many of you didn't sleep, thank you very much. Stories of the tireless interpreters, the protocol people, the health staff, the security staff, the ever-punctual drivers, the extremely professional and courteous police that guided us on the streets, dispatch riders. Oh yes, and of course the police band, right up there. That graced the opening ceremony as they will grace the closing ceremony. And the drivers who work so relentlessly every day. Stories and stories of members of the press whose every minute was spent telling our stories and broadcasting it around the world. Above all, stories of incredible 81 shareholder member countries of this African Development Bank who all showed up in Accra to say, we trust the African Development Bank. We trust its president's leadership. We trust its governance. We trust its board. We trust its vision. Most importantly, we trust the continent which it serves. Thank you very much. You demonstrated very clearly that today, by the unanimous adoption of the final communique of the 57th meeting of the African Development Bank governors and the 48th annual meeting of the boards of governors of the African Development Bank. So, my governors, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, as you leave, I have to give you a parting song. And the song is by Jim Reeves. And are you there? Please join me on stage. I hope that your thing is enough. Come right here. Thank you. don't go yet because you still have, don't go yet because you still have to, I still have to sing. I can see clearly now, the rain is gone. I can see all obstacle in my way. Gone have the dark clouds that hold me blind. It's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. It's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. Oh yes, I can make it now. The pain is gone. All of the bad feelings have disappeared. Here is the rainbow I've been waiting for. It's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. It's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. Look all around, there's nothing but blue sky. Look straight ahead, there's nothing but blue sky. I can see clearly now, the rain is gone. I can see all obstacles in my way. Here is the rainbow I've been praying for. It's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. It's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. One more time. It's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. Thank you very much. We'll see you in Sharm el-Sheikh. God bless you all. Thank you.
Well, the president is preparing for a second career after the bank. Thank you, Mr. President, for your inspiration and for lightening the mood and giving us something to really think deeply about, because development for Africa is the one love that we have for the continent. Thank you very much. Let me invite the outgoing chairperson of the Board of Governors to make his remarks.
I was seeking advice from the Secretary General. How do you follow a chief optimist of Africa, a singing and dancing president? Thank you very much for your inspiration. Excellency, the Vice President of the Republic of Ghana, Dr. Mahamadou Bawumia. Mr. President, Chief Optimist, Secretary General, and all of you here, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, fellow governors, the media, Good afternoon. And it has been a real privilege to host these annual meetings and welcome all of you, our colleagues and counterparts, to this historic city of Accra. I wish to express my deep appreciation to the Bank Group for the honor and privilege to serve as chairperson of the boards of governors for 2 successive years. I also express many thanks to members of the Bureau, Belgium and Nigeria, the boards of governors, the boards of directors, senior management and staff of the bank for their strong support, without which stewarding the affairs of the highest decision-making organs would have been an impossible task. Let me thank all of you for these 2 years. And I also want to thank really the local organizing committee for the work they have done. If they are here, it would be good to see you all get up so we can acknowledge what you have done. Thank you very much. Thank you indeed. And also, Secretary General, your team, to thank you. If you get up for us to also acknowledge all that you've done from the bank. All those who helped. Thank you very much. I recount the successful outcomes of the 2022 annual meetings, particularly the boards of governors' endorsement of the broad outlines of the Gang Group's strategic outlook for the next 10 years, 2023 to 2032, to build, quote, a prosperous Africa based on inclusive growth and sustainable development. The boards of directors, management, and staff should continue to work diligently towards a speedy completion of the next 10-year strategy and subsequent full implementation to achieve green and sustainable and inclusive development across our beloved and beautiful continent. I welcome and express best wishes to the new Bureau, comprising Egypt, Brazil, and Uganda, for a phenomenal tenure. Governor Tariq Amer, where is he? He's going to chair. There we go. I hand over to you to work with the chief optimist, the singing and dancing president. So recalibrate your tools of managing boards. This is going to be different. Welcome to it. Without a doubt, we've had a successful and constructive week. I said at the outset of these annual meetings, difficult conversations must be had and responsibility must be shared for us to make meaningful progress and realize our developmental aspirations. And that's precisely what we have done over the past week. Today, I feel even more honored to have steered the affairs of this august body, the highest decision-making body of Africa's premier bank, for 2 successive years. I'm even more humbled by the collective resolve demonstrated by each of us to advance the cause of our continent. Furthermore, we have seen the vibrancy of our youth, celebrated our diverse cultures, and tabled policy initiatives that level the playing field for the creation of a gender-responsive green economy. I also note of high satisfaction that we have collectively come to the table to proffer solutions to address the multiple challenges that confront us. Personally, I profited from the immense counsel of many regional and non-regional governors as we deliberated and reached a common ground based on collective trust. We are, of course, meeting at a difficult time in global history. Indeed, the exigencies of the moment, rising food and fuel prices amid limited financing tools, constrained further by elevated debt levels across the continent and the Russian-Ukraine war, demanded that we think out of the box to enhance the fortunes of our 1.3 billion people. I'm particularly proud that we lay down our self-interest and focus our discussions on collectively breaking the injustices and inequities of the global financial architecture. Like the late great Archbishop Desmond Tutu said, exclusion is never the way forward on a shared path to freedom and justice. Undoubtedly, advancing progress on initiatives such as granting ADF market access and rechanneling SDRs through the bank should go a long way towards helping mobilize the requisite capital for our development and enhancing the prospects of market access for economies on our continent. President Akufo-Addo's Accra Declaration captures and enjoins us to have the attitude and the spirit to make sure that our bank becomes the most dynamic bank on the continent. We must also have the courage to continue to push for a framework, climate change framework, that respects historical responsibility and focuses on countries with much bigger footprints on past and present emission. Plato did say, the right is nothing more than what benefits the powerful. We must invoke, rather, our common humanity and build together. The balance sheet of climate change demands of us to seek this fairness. According to our bank's estimates, Africa will be owed carbon credits valued at over 4.6 trillion between now and 2020, representing an annual flow of $166 billion. In fact, Africa's carbon credit is almost 10 times the 18 billion global climate finance Africa received between 2016 and 2019, and much more than what we're required to do if our common humanity guides us as we make these regulations. As we advance, we must continue to have a unified voice, and table initiatives such as the introduction of carbon credits to ensure Africa can build forward better, smarter, and bolder, while avoiding locking up or stranding our assets, and having our progress therefore derailed by the fallout from events that occurred hundreds of miles away from us. Without a doubt, the events of this week must further embolden us to reimagine an Africa that leverages its national and human resources to become the Eden of prosperity and human rights for the next generation. The Africa we want, the Africa that the world needs. Will the journey towards creating the Africa we want be difficult? Of course, but let us heed the words of our great Pan-African and our first president, Dr. Nkrumah, whose 50th years of passing we celebrate this year. And he said, countrymen, the task ahead is great indeed, and heavy is the responsibility. And yet, it is a noble and glorious challenge, a challenge which calls for the courage to dream, the courage to believe, the courage to dare, the courage to do, the courage to envision, the courage to fight, the courage to work, the courage to achieve the highest excellencies and the fullest greatness of man. There we ask for more in life. That's our challenge. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I am proud of the progress we have made this week. Overall, our discussions have reaffirmed that despite the many challenges ahead, our collective resolve can ensure that we nurture an enduring recovery that creates prosperity across our entire continent and helps us create the Africa we want. Thank you for this transformation journey. As we depart, may we all continue to be united, speaking one language, and the President's song, One Love, let's get together and feel all right. But to more than feel all right. And as in Genesis 11:6 says, once we are united, nothing can restrain us, and we will do the impossible. I wish each and everyone a safe journey back home. Ghana is grateful and proud of holding the events of this week. Aiko Munantiye. Thank you once again. God bless our bank. God bless Africa. God bless us all. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chair. At this juncture, we invite the new Bureau to the podium. May I ask protocol to lead the new Bureau. Egypt as the chairperson, the next chairperson of the Boards of Governors. Brazil as the first vice chairperson. Uganda as the second vice chairperson. Welcome to the new Bureau. At this point in time, we will play a video on Egypt as the next host of the annual meetings in 2023. Please show the video.
Once your eyes behold it, you will see the greatest place with its history, location, art, culture, and people. And because it is the greatest place, the achievements made on its territory must also be worthy of its status, because this is a place like no other. This is Egypt. This is a place where people see the future. 100 million citizens eager to live with dignity in their home. We started implementing real development plans in all fields. We started a few years ago by building thousands of kilometers of roads, tunnels, bridges, and large corridors across the Nile. At the same time, we put integrated plans to renovate the different means of transportation. The door has been opened to hundreds of projects that are being built in the economic zone. Egyptian ports have been transformed into international hubs for global transport and trade services. The sun, whose light illuminates the whole world. In Egypt, it is more beautiful than anywhere else on earth. Change has begun. We have built the largest state-of-the-art power plant in the world. Renewable energy plants powered by both solar and wind. We have erected new technology-based plants equipped with the world's latest technology. Success in the electricity sector has been an elusive dream, but the bigger dream is to leave a mark of achievement that bears your own name, one that can be proud of everywhere in the world, made in Egypt. Egypt, that has all the ingredients for its own industrial success. With factories opening their doors in various industrial segments, equipped with the world's latest technology. Factories run by Egyptian hands, unified by one objective, to enhance the country's economy. With determination and persistence, we made the decision to develop. Searching and exploring, while being confident, our plans would lead to success. launched the Integrated Agricultural Development Project throughout the augmentation of water resources and irrigation. Little land reclamation has been accomplished all over Egypt's governorates via open field cultivation, as well as greenhouses equipped with the latest technology. Yes, this is Egypt, a large country, and its people who need a strong guiding hand to help them solve their problems. The map of our country has changed because of dozens of new cities in all governorates that accommodate millions from all the walks of life, all dreaming of a better life for themselves and their children. One of the largest of these cities is the new administrative capital, which our state institutions will move to. Cities overlooking the world charming beaches. And today, Egypt is opening its gates everywhere and in every field to real opportunities for success. Still, we will continue our journey to dream, to run, and to be ahead. True development throughout our entire country is our ultimate objective. This is Egypt, a place like no other.
Honorable Governors, you will agree with me that that is really fabulous. So we pray that 2023 would also allow us to meet physically in Egypt for that which you have in store for us. Now, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, may I invite His Excellency Mr. Tariq Amar, Governor of the Central Bank of Egypt, an AFDB governor for Egypt, an incoming chairperson of the Board of Governors, to give us his acceptance speech. I'm just waiting that indeed he will accept that Egypt will be hosting the annual meetings next year. Honorable Governor, please. Until I hear you from you, I don't know whether you've accepted or not.
Mr. Vice President, sir, thank you very much for this very valuable time and for this warmth of reception and for giving us your very precious time to the group of the African Development Bank and its governors and staff and everybody. So thank you very much. We would like to thank His Excellency Mahmoud Baumia, the Vice President, and also I'd like to thank my dear friend, a respectable man I have high regard for, Honorable Kenneth Ofori Atta, for his chairmanship over the last period. And I know his acumen and capability, and this makes me a little bit anxious how to continue this excellent track, preserving and protecting the bank during very difficult times and making sure that there is solidarity there between shareholders and management and board, which is quite challenging when we have a very outspoken and very professional members of the shareholder meetings and the Board of Governors. So thank you very much for that. And I'd like to thank esteemed governors, Mr. Adesina, the president, who is filling the world of Africa here and there with his great energy and optimism. And optimism, Mr. Chairman, is very, very important. And I tell my children, hope is very important and we can never give it up. So Mr. Adesina is driving this institution with a lot of enthusiasm and hope, and this kind of passion is the passion that drives the talent and the brain to operate and bring out the best of it. And I remember I met the late Mr. Paul Volcker 20 years ago. I was just assigned deputy governor at the central bank, and there was a crisis, and I was trying to convince him to come and help us with expertise. So I met him in New York for 2 hours, and he was questioning me right, left, and center. And what he said when he was shaking my hands, he said, "You have the passion and the mind." So I realized at that time how important the drive and the passion is in whatever we are doing. And there is no harm that we enjoy what we're doing and enjoy our life same time, like Mr. Adesina has giving us the... Egypt is grateful to its partners and brothers, to its African community. Egypt extracts a lot of pride in its heritage that started all its development in the Nubian area in southern Egypt, very close to Sudan. And the Egyptians are very proud of this heritage, and they continue to connect and define themselves based on this heritage. And therefore, this is how we are connected to our continent. Of course, Egypt has also experienced many waves of cultures because of its position at the very northern part of Africa. So many cultures tried to explore Egypt. So we had the Romanian empire that came to Egypt, and they had, I think, a great time. And I think, as I understand from stories, they got married to our queen, and then we had influences from Europe, influences from the United Kingdom, from the British Empire, from the French Empire. We had influences from the Italians, from the Greek, from the Armenians. But also we had the major influence that really stayed with us beside our Nubian heritage was the Arab Islamic influence. And so besides our Nubian and Coptic heritage, which comprise around 15% of our population, the Islamic heritage has become engraved in the hearts of Egypt, because Egyptians like what they hear about the preachers of Islam, talking about relationships, friendship relationships with human, the principles of giving and sharing, and so on. So we Egyptians are very proud of being connected to Africa in one way, and to its Arab region, Islamic region one way, and to its Christian Coptic history in another way. And Egypt does not change. And this is a challenge I'm finding, Your Excellency, Mr. Vice President, when I try to bring new things, techniques of doing business into the Egyptian culture, and trying to educate and communicate monetary policy and inflation and what have you. And the change is very difficult in Egypt, because Egypt doesn't really change. So I would like, on behalf of our authorities and government, with all humbleness, to invite you to the meeting next year in Sharm el-Sheikh. It is a very special place, and it has a special history that gathered presidents of the world on peace meetings and initiatives. And we at the central bank and in the government has done very, very hard work to make this an incredible experience for everybody who loves the African Development Bank and supports the African Development Bank. And I'm sure it is going to be a successful meeting as well. It is also, Sharm el-Sheikh is going to receive COP27 towards the end of this year, and I hope and we hope that our partners and friends will be present during the COP27, and we hope that it's going also to achieve the objectives of Egypt and the organizers. Of course, Egypt has ongoing commitment to support the African Development Bank because of recognizing the noble role of the African Development Bank on the especially low-income communities and the majority of the people of Africa. And we would like to thank the African Development Bank shareholders, governors, board members, and executive management on the role over the past years, which has been significant. And because of the importance of this role, we continue to ask for more and put pressure on the executive management for more, because the African Development Bank stands out, and therefore we expect more from them, but continue to be committed to providing the support whenever needed as a shareholder and as a partner. We have also, we know that the continent have been affected severely during the COVID. And this was a crisis that was at the very beginning unknown to us. And a lot of people have lost their lives. We in Egypt, we've experienced the same. And we were the last nations to receive vaccines, but our doctors and our officials struggled to make those casualties at a minimum. And also our banking system has sacrificed many of its lives in order to serve its communities during that time. We thank African Development Bank for taking the initiative in large amount of money committed to help countries in this direction. And we are supporting the African Development Bank and the Board of Governors in their recommendations in order to empower the bank with more financial resources through recommendations that have been discussed in terms of SDRs, etc. And I have a discussion with the chairman today, and we believe it is the best way to optimize the impact of such SDRs is to use the platform of the African Development Bank. I of course will consult back home, but I believe that the bank will be able to get the approval of Egypt in this direction. We are very happy to see the bank very highly disciplined and have taken major steps according to the recommendations of the Board of Governors in terms of governance. And governance and discipline is very important to grow on very strong foundations. And we are happy that the management is taking the recommendations of the board very seriously, and there has been a lot of progress in this direction. I therefore thank you, President, for for all the work and the effort that has been invested, and we look forward for more. I will be putting pressure on Mr. President and on the management team in the next period for the benefit of the shareholders and everybody, and in order to be able to just come up to the benchmark that our chairman has put forward. Mr. Vice President, thank you very much, and we hope to see you in Egypt over one of the events we have mentioned. Thank you, Secretary, for all the organization. Thank you for your trust.
Thank you, the new chairperson of the Board of Governors of the African Development Bank. One more time, please, for the new chair. We're coming to the end of our program. Ladies and gentlemen, may you please join me in welcoming His Excellency Mahmoud Bawumia, Vice President of the Republic, to give the closing remarks.
Thank you very, very much. Please have a seat. Thank you. Your Excellency, the Prime Minister and Minister for Economy, Planning and Cooperation, the Central African Republic, the President of the African Development Bank, Dr. Akinwumi Adesina, Ken Ofori-Atta, Minister for Finance and Economic Planning and Chairperson of the Board of Governors of the AFDB, Governors of the AFDB, Executive Directors, Secretary General, senior officials of the AFDB Group, distinguished invited guests, media, ladies and gentlemen. I must say, after listening to Dr. Adesina sing, in this very jazzed up session of the meeting, I felt a little jealous because I also believe I'm a good singer. The only problem is that my wife made me promise never to sing in public. So you will not get to hear my voice. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, 3 days ago, I joined you for the state dinner in honor of the annual general meetings of both the African Development Bank and the African Development Fund. And I'm thankful for that and also for the opportunity to be with you again today for the closing ceremony. I thank the President of the bank, Dr. Akinwumi Adesina, as well as boards of governors and directors for the honor done the Ghanaian people to finally host this continental event in Ghana. The performance of the AFDB over the years has proved the ingenuity and vision of our forefathers. As it was envisioned at the beginning, the bank has evolved to become integral to the sustained and inclusive development of this continent. It is now a AAA-rated financial institution, winning global awards and delivering the needed support for its people. Aside the immense socioeconomic interventions, especially in infrastructure, agricultural modernization, social protection, and entrepreneurial development, the bank is at the forefront of seeking fairness for Africa in the global arena. These efforts have substantially improved inequality, vulnerability, and fragility on the continent. Together with the millions of people across Africa, we say thank you for your continued belief in the African cause and the African dream. Ladies and gentlemen, having contributed so much in building the African economies, today the bank is challenged even more than ever to do more. Our economies are facing the fallout from the Russia-Ukraine war, which are compounding the existing socioeconomic vulnerabilities triggered by the COVID-19 pandemic. This is why the continental average real growth rate is projected to decline from 6.2% in 2021 to 4.1% in 2022. The short-term economic consequences in the form of rising inflation, subdued growth, increasing inequality, and greater macro-fiscal instability is affecting cost of living on this continent. I have no doubt that the bank will rise up to the occasion and help our economies scale over these hard times. I commend the Board of Governors for their foresight in endorsing the broad framework for the bank's strategic outlook 2023 to 2032, that is for the next 10 years, to build a prosperous Africa based on inclusive growth and sustainable development. This is ample demonstration of the success of this meeting. It would be critical that through this strategic plan, the AFDB will work closely with the AU Commission and other sub-regional institutions to urgently operationalize and grow the African Financial Stability Mechanism. This will enhance protection for our economies from future shocks and enable us to join the list of regions with such economic buffer arrangements. It is my view that the successful implementation of this strategic plan will draw the continent closer to achieving the goals of Agenda 2063 and build the Africa we want, amongst others. This will mean connecting about 600 million people in Africa to electricity, including 1.75 million public health centers and schools. It will mean providing clean cooking fuel for about 940 million people in Africa and eradicating the almost 490,000 premature deaths per year in Africa due to unclean fuel. Closing the financing gap of roughly 66 billion for health needs, 39 billion to improve access to education, and 3 trillion in additional resources for climate adaptation, and also means implementing the AFDB's Affirmative Finance Action for Women in Africa initiative to bridge the $42 billion financing gap facing women in Africa. Ladies and gentlemen, it is reassuring that the AFDB is offering complementary leadership on climate action in Africa, including mobilizing climate financing. And this is critical because we know that climate change has severe consequences for Africa's economic growth prospects. The economic cost of climate change in Africa is estimated to worsen from some $15 billion in 2020 to $50 billion by 2040, and an equivalent of some 7% of Africa's GDP by 2100. Even as I commend you for the active contribution to the successful outcomes achieved at COP26 in Scotland, I remind you that Africa expects the bank to be active in COP27, particularly given its focus on Africa. In placing all these expectations at your doorstep, I am mindful that this is a bank which must be allowed to do what it was created to do. I have followed the engagements in the course of these meetings and have noted with satisfaction the recommendation on expanding resource mobilization. I would like to underscore the need for this and add my voice to the call that the bank undertakes an aggressive resource mobilization drive, especially for the ongoing ADF 16 window, to meet the exigencies of these times. The bank should earnestly reform the regulations to enable the ADF to enter the market to leverage its resources, as the President mentioned. The bank should effectively pursue the strategic decision of the AU to make the AFDB the delivery vehicle for the special drawing rights and leveraging these SDR resources to drive Africa's recovery and transformation. And it should prioritize and explore the issuance of security-indexed investment bonds to raise funds to combat the increasing insecurity and enhance capacity to protect investments and livelihoods and rehabilitate communities and infrastructure adversely impacted by insecurity. The success of these endeavors will be crucial in sustaining the commendable efforts of the bank to improve Africa's preparedness and resilience for possible future global supply chain disruptions and health emergencies. Increased funding will impact how countries upgrade and expand their health facilities and build up competencies of pharmaceutical industries to manufacture vaccines and therapeutics, and also how countries optimize the fourth industrial revolution to create a resilient knowledge and data-based economy for the 21st century. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I am convinced and confident that this bank, our bank, the African Development Bank, has the right leadership and skill set to continue to digitalize Africa, industrialize Africa, feed Africa, light up, empower Africa, integrate Africa, and transform the quality of the lives of the African people. I am happy that here in Accra, you have found the peace and support to reflect on your achievements and plan for the next stage. I'm also confident of your ability and willingness to implement the Accra Declaration for the betterment of the bank and the continent. By all accounts, this has been a successful annual meeting of the AFDB and the ADF. On behalf of the government and the people of Ghana, I say a big thank you for a job well done. I trust that you've had a pleasant and productive stay in Ghana, and I wish everyone a safe journey to your respective countries. I thank you very much for your attention. God bless us all. God bless Ghana, and God bless Africa. Thank you very much. My boss, the President of the Republic of Ghana, has given me one assignment, and that is to hand over the Accra Declaration, which he has signed together with other leaders to the President of the Africa Development Bank. So, Mr. President.
Thank you, Your Excellency, for that wonderful speech. It says the African Development Bank has the requisite skills to do all that is listed in the high five priorities which you read out. It is very clear that indeed the African Development Bank has those skills, because in the government of Ghana, the bank has entrenched equities. The Honorable Vice President, His Excellency, is indeed the first tranche of the bank's equity in the government of Ghana. Because he used to be a staff member of the African Development Bank. And of course, we did disburse the second tranche. And the second tranche is the governor of the Central Bank of Ghana, who used to also be a staff of the African Development Bank. So that's our second tranche. I don't know what the tax manager will do subsequently in releasing more tranches to Ghana. Thank you, Excellency, for your wonderful speech. Ladies and gentlemen, we've come to that time where we need to remember how it all was when we started. The best of the annual meetings videos come to you now before we close. The best of the annual meeting videos, please. I am pleased to welcome you to the 2022 annual meetings of the Boards of Governors.
Africa expects a framework that reconciles people and planet for peace. We cannot fail the people and the planet. Both must win.
Africa does not need bowls in hand. Africa needs seeds in the ground. It is time to have food sovereignty in Africa.
Climate change is one of the most existential threats to Africa's development because energy is like the blood in the human body for economic growth.
Every woman and every man has a right to a decent life. For the past 50 years, the African Development Fund has been giving hope.
The results associated with AFDB and ADF's operations have changed the lives of millions of Africans. As such, as Africa's financing needs have grown, the resources of our development institutions must grow at a pace commensurate with the needs of the continent.
We have many challenges: climate change, gender financial inclusion, private sector development. We have many ideas. We are very numerous, so I think that the discussions will be very lengthy for this year, but I'm really hoping forward to seeing the final package that we will bring forward.
África tem que ser dada a oportunidade para poder surgir. Estamos agora com alguma possibilidade de termos, eu acho que o gás é energia de transição e também não é muito nociva, aliás. Penso que não é o gás que está em causa na totalidade, porque quem está a poluir o mundo, quem está a criar no meu país, nem sequer 10%, nem 2% da poluição faz, mas é vítima desses que poluem muito no mundo.
The first challenge was a trust, to make people of Tanzania have a trust on me that I can deliver, I can run the country the same way men did, and in some circumstances more than they did.
Donc que la banque continue à mobiliser encore plus de ressources sur les marchés pour pouvoir financer le développement de l'Afrique, et ce développement passe par la transformation de nos économies.
We have an excellent relation with the African Development Bank. We receive a lot of support in agriculture, in energy and infrastructure development, and this is a very strong partnership where we see eye to eye on development priorities for Ethiopia.
Thank you very much. We came on the 23rd of May, and we depart today, of course tomorrow for a lot of people, on the 27th, 28th of May. We saw Accra, we experienced Accra, we enjoyed Accra. Ghana, Adase, thank you very much. Now we have a family photo where the Vice President of the Republic, the President of the bank, the outgoing chair of the Board of Directors, the incoming bureau will have a picture. May I invite the General Counsel to please join this picture as I also join the picture. Thank you very much. Protocol, could you please tell us? The outgoing bureau too should please come. Nigeria and Belgium. The outgoing bureau, Nigeria and Belgium. The new bureau, Egypt, Brazil, and Uganda. There has to be a representative of the country, even if the governor is not here. Before you move on, may I make an announcement regarding the evening? There is the governor's closing dinner tonight at 8 p.m. at Labadi Beach Hotel. All governors, all alternate governors, all executive directors, all alternate executive directors, Thank you, police band, for your wonderful work. Thank you very much. As I continue the announcement, all executive directors, alternate executive directors, all senior advisors and advisors, all senior management, all DGs and DDGs and country managers and members of the Secretariat are invited to this dinner. Thank you very much. 8 o'clock at Labadi Beach Hotel. Thank you. And also members of the technical committee of the annual meetings are invited as well.